All right, let's begin. Welcome, both online and in person, to Thursday evening spiritual practices at the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Sara Lewis. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as OUUC's Director of Community and Faith Development. This practice is being streamed and recorded. And thank you for joining me for about 30 minutes of meditation this evening. So we begin, as we do, by lighting a chalice. And tonight's chalice lighting words are by UU minister Cynthia Landrum with a nod to Spider-Man. Mindful that with great power comes great responsibility, we light this chalice in the hopes that in brightest day and in darkest night, our faith will flame on. Throughout tonight's practice, we will be singing the chant Gathered Here. So I invite you to sing it now with me in sort of a little bit of a practice round. It is repetitive, and I think you'll catch on if you don't already know it. So feel free to join me whenever you like. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Hold on to that for a little bit later. And now let's just sink in and get grounded. This is a little grounding practice that is invitational. So just join me in any part of it that feels right to you. But if something else is calling to you and feeling right for grounding and settling, do that. It's fine. Are you safe in this moment in your space? Just assess, if you like, how you feel, look around. What are the internal and external cues and clues of your safety? Can you right now attend a little bit to your safety and comfort and make it even more? Perhaps notice whether your body likes the way it is currently sitting, or perhaps look around and notice the windows and doors and their relationship to you. What can you do right now to give yourself even more comfort and safety? What happens when you take an intentional inhale through your nose and sigh it out with a gentle force through your mouth or your nose? Do you want to take another breath cycle? Do you want to make a movement, adjust yourself, or stay in stillness for a moment? Is there a word, phrase, image, or thought that comes to you now? And what do you want to do with that? Do you want to set it aside? Say, I'll come back to you later. Do you want to hold it for a moment? And now from this place of grounding, I invite you into our first meditation. It's written by Erica A. Hewitt. It's entitled Connection as Resistance. And I invite you just to listen. In her 1975 theological treatise, Suffering, German liberation theologian Dorothy Zerla examines the way that suffering can knit human beings closer together and can draw us more fully into the process of loving. She uses the term apatheia, or the inability to suffer, to describe the condition in which people become so dominated by the goal of avoiding suffering that it becomes a goal to avoid human relationships and contexts altogether. Isolation and apathy are forms of powerlessness. Both destroy. In Zerla's words, we are destroyed most thoroughly by that affliction that robs us of any possibility of loving any longer. The capacity we need the most is the capacity to keep on loving. If pain and suffering tempt us to become isolated and apathetic, Zerla argues we must instead give voice to our suffering by creating a language of lament that might draw us into solidarity. Therefore, resisting the isolation that breeds loneliness is not just an emotional, psychological, or even spiritual act, but it's also a political one. The blogger and critic Maria Popova puts it this way: our insistence on belonging, community, and human connection is one of the greatest acts of courage and resistance in the face of oppression. Our insistence on belonging, community, and human connection. Please join me in a few minutes of silence as we hold those words and reflect on their meaning for us. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Our second meditation tonight is a litany, and so you will be invited to respond. It reflects on the ways in which we all may hold some power and privilege because of our identities, and less power and privilege because of other identities we carry. And yet, we can all pledge to support and be an ally to one another. The response that you'll be invited to say along with me is, we pledge our support. And when I get to that part, I will indicate that we'll say it together. We pledge our support. We will name positions of privilege in our society and those who are less privileged, who, as Unitarian Universalists, we are called to be in solidarity with. If you are part of the privileged identity group, please join in the response, we pledge our support to those of the marginalized group. Those of us who are heterosexual or cisgendered honor the LGBTQ community and commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who are white or Euro-American honor people of color, Black, Latinx, Asian, and Indigenous, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who have not been imprisoned honor those who have been incarcerated, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who are not Muslim honor our Muslim neighbors. Those who are not Jewish honor our Jewish neighbors. And we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who are more insulated from the effects of climate change honor those on the front lines, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who identify as men honor women, trans people, and genderqueer people, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us from middle or upper income households honor those who struggle with poverty, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who are neurotypical and of presently healthy body honor those who are differently abled, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who have American citizenship honor those who are immigrants, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who have reliable health care access honor those who don't, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. Those of us who have not experienced violence honor those who are survivors, and we commit ourselves to acts of solidarity. We pledge our support. For all those who suffer from prejudice, poverty, violence, disaster, illness, and environmental degradation, who we have not named or perhaps do not know yet, we keep our hearts and minds open to solidarity in new ways to new people. We pledge our support. May we each and all use the power we have as allies to our family, friends, and neighbors who are suffering. Our support, yes. Please join me in a few minutes of silence, perhaps sending that supportive energy and love out to anyone who is suffering, who is marginalized. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Our final meditation is a blessing for one who holds power. And I invite you to bring to your mind and your heart a person that you want to send this blessing to. It could be a political leader, a world leader, or someone else who holds some amount of power, some amount of power. And as we read this blessing, just imagine this blessing sinking into the heart of this person who holds power. Send this to them. The blessing is by poet John O'Donohue. May the gift of leadership awaken in you as a vocation. May it keep you mindful of the providence that calls you to serve. As high over the mountains the eagle spreads its wings, may your perspective be larger than the view from the foothills. When the way is flat and dull in times of gray endurance, may your imagination continue to evoke horizons. When thirst burns in times of drought, may you be blessed to find the wells. May you have the wisdom to read time clearly and know when the seeds of change will flourish. In your heart, may there be a sanctuary for the stillness where clarity is born. May your work be infused with passion and creativity and have the wisdom to balance compassion and challenge. May your soul find the graciousness to rise above the fester of small mediocrities. And may your power never become a shell wherein your heart would silently atrophy. May you welcome your own vulnerability and the ground where healing and truth join. May integrity of soul be your first ideal, the source that will guide and bless your work. I invite you to continue picturing in your mind and heart leaders, those who may need to hear this blessing, as we have a few minutes of silence to send them our blessings. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Thank you all. Our closing words tonight to extinguish our chalice are by Tom Shade, entitled A Power at Work in the Universe. My friends, there is a power at work in the universe, and it works through human hands. But it was not made by human hands. It is a creative, sustaining, and transforming power, and we can trust that power in our lives. It will sustain us whenever we take a stand on the side of love, whenever we are on the side of peace and justice, whenever we take a risk. Trust in that power. We are together held by that power. And I would add, we are together that power. Blessed be. Good night.